welcome to Day Home Divas. I'm Joanne.
I'm Cash.
And I'm Sophia.
In this episode, we talk about the importance of letting children fall. As hard as it is to watch sometimes, as moms and caregivers, it's our job to protect them, to prevent them from getting hurt, to keep them safe, and it's quite literally ingrained into us to prevent it. You've probably noticed that when you see a child fall, instinct takes over. Our bodies react before we have the time to process a thought. That never goes away either. I still react to my son when he slips on the ice. And realistically, if I actually did try to catch him before he fell, he would squash me like a bug. He's double my size, so it would probably hurt more for me to like catch him from a fall than it would to just let him fall. However, falling is an important part of growing and learning, and we have to learn to let them fall. Children need to fall. It's an essential part of their physical, emotional, and cognitive development. Allowing children to fall helps building resilience and persistence, balance and coordination, development of motor skills, awareness of the capabilities and limits of their own bodies, confidence and independence, the ability to assess and make judgment without risk, handling of tools and safety and with purpose, understanding consequences to actions, resourcefulness, creativity, and inventiveness, and curiosity and wonder.
And also, I want to add to that they are also just mastering a new skill. So
Exactly.
sometimes they kind of want to go and be persistent and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And even though it's annoying and frustrating, they're just trying to master a new skill.
Yeah, excellent point.
When children experience falls, it helps them build balance, coordination, and spatial awareness by stimulating the vestibular system responsible for balance and movement and coordination, and the proprioception awareness of their body's position in space. We need to allow children to move freely, take risks, and learn to recover from minor setbacks to allow these physical systems to develop effectively. Children also learn resilience and persistence when they fall. Understanding that a fall is not something to be feared, but part of the learning process is critical for building emotional regulation and self-confidence. Therefore, limiting their opportunities for risk-taking can hinder their growth. This does not mean you should be placing toddlers on climbing structures that are designed for school-aged or promoting dangerous situations. You should, however, be allowing children the space and freedom to explore within appropriate boundaries, such as letting them run, climb, and test their physical limits in appropriate spaces. Being overprotective or micromanaging their movements, only allowing them on a playground they are capable of navigating on their own, does not build their self-confidence or let them progress. Instead, when you limit them because of your fears, you are showing them you have a lack of confidence in them, which in turn teaches them to have a lack of confidence in themselves. You are also teaching them to be fearful. Let children fall. They need to in order to learn how to get back up and try again. Falling helps children improve their balance, coordination, and proprioception, awareness of their position and movement of their body in space, by refining their body awareness and motor skills. Supporting overall physical development, it also stimulates the vestibular system, the sensory system responsible for balance and spatial orientation, enhancing spatial awareness and movement control. It's important for children to develop awareness of their capabilities and limits of their own bodies. They don't know what they are capable of if we don't let them try.
Isn't it funny how when you're at a park with the kids, you can always tell, like if there's other kids there, you can tell if the person they are with is mom or a caregiver. So if they're off playing on things and like, look at this, and doing things that seem like slightly dangerous or slightly like worrisome, whatever, and the person they're with is like, great job. It's like, that's their caregiver.
Well,
If
and
the person is like, careful, careful, that's mom.
have you seen the controversy about them climbing a slide?
Yes. Yeah. So, and I will admit, this is something that took me a while to be okay with. And it wasn't actually, kind of think this is probably the case for a lot of people. It wasn't actually the case of, oh my God, you might get hurt. It was like, you go up the steps and down the slide. Like, it's the whole, like, how you're supposed to use the slide versus letting them figure it out and play and stuff, right? And so I would catch myself saying that to them all the time. Okay, guys, up the steps, down the slide. We don't go up the slide. It took a while for me to be okay with, like, you know what, they're actually right. They get to use it however they want, and it's me. It's a me issue. So it's not a them.
Not necessarily, because if they go up the slide and somebody is trying to go down the slide and they've been told their entire life that it's okay to go up the slide, then it causes lots of problems. I know from the school playground, right? Because when you're playing on the playground, there's like 100 kids outside and they all want to go down the slide, but then you have somebody who's trying to go up the slide and you're like, no, you can't go up it, you go down it. So you have to get off and go around, right? And trying to reteach it that way once they hit school is hard, because now they've been taught their entire lives it's okay, right?
I saw a TikTok about that because a parent was getting mad about them going up the slide. And it was more so saying that if you're going to go up the slide, then you got to still get out of the way and let someone else go down the slide how they want to go down it. But like for me,
that's a good point. Yeah.
Like for me, I don't let my kids, if there's going to be kids at the top of it that are going down, they're not allowed to climb it. They got to wait and go back. If there's no one there, then go ahead, do whatever you want.
Well, if you're the only one at the park, who cares, right? If there's no one there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I always, now that I'm better with the whole going up a slide, I'm very much like, if someone else is going up the stairs and wants to come down the slide, then you have to get out of the way. If it's your turn on the slide, you can go up the slide and then down if that's what you do. But if someone else is coming up the stairs, you've got to get out of the way for them to come down.
At school, we don't let them go up the slide, just so everybody knows. Yeah, at school, we don't let them.
That's like organized. Yeah, that's to make it more organized and just like a unified rule for everybody, right? Like, I think the going up the slide thing is more so for the younger, like prior to going to school thing,
right?
Maybe because that's when, by the time you're in school, you can run up a slide. Like you've figured out how to do that, so you don't necessarily need to learn that skill anymore.
Yeah,
but I think going to school, it's an important thing to learn, because it teaches more than just the capability of going up the slide, but it's also the confidence that it builds, being able to do that and stuff, right?
Right.
I mean, it's all different environments and different stages that allow you to do different things. And like you say, if no one else is on the playground, do whatever you want. But if someone else is there, that's when we've got to be courteous of other people and stuff like that. There's more to it at that point.
Right.
Well, and I think some of it for the younger kids is they think they're doing something they're not supposed to. So it's exciting.
So they're like,
they're like, yes, I'm not allowed to do this, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I think too is like letting them fall is just more like, I have a 1-year-old. She loves to try and Superman it off the couch, which I do not let her. But giving her like a little thing that she could stand on, that if she falls, she won't hurt herself, but she's learning to fall.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard concept, like for parents, harder for parents to watch their own kids fall than for caregivers, because for one, we know that they need to do this for like developmental reasons and stuff, but it's a lot harder watching your own child fall than watching someone else's child fall. So I think that separation allows us to be a little bit more open to it as caregivers versus moms, right? I mean, obviously we're aware like an okay fall versus a not okay fall. Like when we say you have to let your children fall, we don't mean and crack their head open and go to the emergency room. That's not the type of falling that we're talking about. It's non-injury based falls, and injury, like an actual injury versus a kid going, I have an owie. I took the kids to the playground the other day, and there was this big slide that like the Helter Skelter type slide. So the one that goes like around, and the kids were nervous, but the 1-year-old, of course, was like, my turn. And I'm like, okay, let me go on it with you first and we'll see. And so we go whipping down this slide so fast, and she's on my lap. At the end, I flew off that slide and landed flat on my ass with her on top of me. And I was like, ow. And she was like, yeah, I'm like, oh wow, that hurt my butt so much. But I like didn't say it out loud. I was just like internally like, oh my God, my butt. But they were, I'm like, wow, that was great. And then the other kids, I'm like, hey, your turn. And they're like, nah, I'm good. But I've like that fall, like, sure, it didn't feel great on my butt as like a 46-year-old person, but for a kid, it wouldn't have hurt. So I think there's a balance, right? Like the ouch versus the uh-oh, now we're going to the emergency room.
Each fall helps children develop resilience and confidence by showing them they can get back up, fostering emotional strength and independence as they navigate their environment on their own. Have you ever noticed that if a child falls and thinks no one saw them, they tend to get back up and continue on their own? But if they see that you saw them fall, that's when they second guess themselves and react accordingly.
Yep.
By screaming and crying.
Right.
The waterworks, life is over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Falling encourages cognitive skills such as cause and effect and problem solving. As children learn from their experiences and adjust their actions, it also teaches them to assess physical limits and manage risks, promoting safe exploration and confidence in their own decision-making skills. This leads to children being physically and mentally safer in the short term and long term, and more likely to take healthy risks in adulthood as well. They will not always have you with them to assess the risks and make their decisions. The earlier you teach them to have those skills for themselves, the stronger those skills will become. Falling also helps them to understand consequence to actions. And as they won't enjoy falling, they learn to be resourceful, figure out how to prevent it from happening. Experiencing and managing the frustration of falling helps children build emotional regulation and frustration tolerance, supporting their ability to handle setbacks and challenges with resilience and composure. Creativity and inventiveness often come into play when children are trying to figure out how to prevent a fall or simply being allowed the opportunity to play freely. They are extremely curious and love to explore. The less limits they are given, the more child's imagination will soar.
So let's get back to the whole if they think no one watched or no one saw them fall. That is hilarious, right? Like, so they fall and they kind of, the first thing they do is they look around.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. And if no one saw, they're like, I'm good. And they get up and they go and play. But if they see someone saw, they're like, here we go. It's like they've been waiting for this moment, right? And they just react. So what I do with my kids is when they fall, and if they've clearly seen that I've seen, I'm like, oh, you fell. I'm like, you're good. And so they'll get up and if they're hurt, you can tell the difference, right? Between I'm hurt or my ego is bruised, right? So then I'm like, brush it off. Are you good? Wiggle, make sure everything moves. So they'll do that. And then I'm like, you're good. Grr, you got muscles. You're a tough guy. And then off they go. But if they're actually hurt, I have them come to me. Instead of getting up and running to them, I'm like, okay, it's okay. Come to me. And I've had other people that watch me do that. And they're like, you can get up and go to them. I'm like, yeah, but I can assess their injury better if they can get up and walk towards me. Because if they've hurt their leg and they actually can't get up, you're going to know right away. And I'm not going to be like, no, keep going. Even though you fractured a femur, keep standing up and watching me. Like, that's not the idea, right? The idea is, can they stand up for one? And if, okay, they've stood up, can they walk to me? Like, this is how we assess their injury, right? This is how we know I'm good versus you're getting an Oscar-winning performance of my injuries right this moment, right? So I think that's important. Parents, as soon as your kids fall, if you run to their aid, you have now initiated in their brain that they're hurt, whether they're hurt or not. I mean, we can look at a child that's playing happily and go, oh, are you okay? And they'll be like, wait a minute, am I okay? Like, you can switch how they're thinking and feeling, right? So if you overreact when they fall, they're now in overreact mode and they're going to continue with, yeah, no, I'm seriously hurt. Something is wrong. whether they are or not, they're following your lead. So it's best to
Right.
just have them stand up, have them come to you, let them lead how their reaction is going to go. As soon as you react, you've initiated actor mode. So
Yep.
I think that's important. And using our common sense here, if they have just fallen off a climbing structure and there's blood, don't make them stand up and come to you. Go to them at that point. But if they fell like 6 inches, like they're running in a grassy field and they trip over their own feet, they can get up, they can walk to you, like, and tell you what's going on. So it's all like, it's your job to guess what the situation is and react accordingly or not react at all.
Joanne, you're so funny. You're so funny.
I just think that there's so many parents that as soon as their kid falls, they're like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Let me help you."
And
No, they're fine.
Yeah. No, I agree 100% with everything you say. Yeah.
I get a lot of looks at the park because someone will fall and I'll be like, "Are you okay?" And they'll be like, "Yeah," and they're gone. I'm like, "Okay, go. See ya."
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
especially because you could tell there's nothing with them. Like they just had a fall, like no bumps or scrapes. They're just okay, go play.
Yeah. All my day home kids now, if they trip, if they bang their head, if whatever they do, even if they are injured, which is probably not ideal, but they will still come to me. But the first thing they do is go, "I'm okay."
Yeah.
When they stand up. Like one little guy bumped his head like pretty hard. He jumped underneath the like hangover part of my deck so much that we heard thunk, and he goes, "I'm okay," and then starts crying. I'm like, "Oh, dude." So I'm like comforting him, but that's the first thing they say. Even as soon as they can start speaking, if they trip, the first thing they say is, "I'm okay." And I think that's so good because they're more like they always get back up and they always start playing again instead of creating this fear that like I can't ever do that again because I might get hurt.
Well, and like with the babies, like when they're starting to learn to walk and all that, we all do like the dance party. You clap your hands and go, "Yay, look, you did it."
Right? Yeah.
And then they laugh and they get back up and you're like, "See, there you go."
Exactly. And a lot of times when they fall, it's because, they put the foot in the wrong spot or they forgot to hang onto something. And so if you can do you know what you did wrong? Do you know why you fell? Do you know, and encourage them to stop and think it through and they'll figure it out. Right?
Yeah. Those the damn curbs get them every time.
Right? I was the kid that I mean, I probably still do it, but I used to trip over my own feet all the time. And my parents would say, "If there's paper on the ground, you're going to trip over it." I tripped all the time and I constantly bang into stuff. And so it's important to be able to trip, get back up and be like, "Well, I'm still going." Like if I stopped trying every time I injured myself, I would not leave my bed. So I think it's important for kids to be able to get that and that confidence to get back up and do it again, right?
Well, like my dad, I wanted heels for the longest time because everybody in school wanted heels, right? And literally just as he got health insurance, he got me heels. And instead of running down the hill, I rolled down the hill. And he was like, "See, this is why I did this." He's like, "You shouldn't be wearing them."
Right. That is even me now as a grown up. When I put on my heels, my husband's like, "Oh, crap."
I don't even bother with them. I'm like, screw it. Just give me sandals.
Yeah, I only do for weddings and important things that I'm trying to be all girly, but I really try to avoid them. And I always have extra shoes in my vehicle because I'm like, I know you've got 5-10 minutes of me in these heels before I'm like, do not let go of my hand because I will fall. When allowing your child to fall, try to remember the 4 don'ts of falling. So don't constantly control or steer their movement. Constantly guiding or holding a child's movement hinders their development. It sends conflicting messages as children need to learn how to navigate and control their own bodies. Overly managing their actions can limit their autonomy and impede their motor skills. Don't prevent natural experiences for fear of fall or injury. Repressing children from natural and necessary activities such as running too fast and climbing too high can stifle a child's ability to learn to grow. Avoid helicoptering, overprotecting, and overdirecting and or cushioning them from every potential fall. Don't overreact when a child falls. Having a big reaction, gasping, scolding, panicking, or expressing fear can induce anxiety in children, causing them to associate falling with danger or failure. This can lead to heightened fear, making them more cautious and less willing to explore or take risks in the future. And avoid buffering the fall by offering a snack if they become upset. Let children process their emotions and not use food to cope. Don't constantly tell children to be careful. Overusing phrases like be careful can instill unnecessary fear and caution in children, making them overly anxious and hesitant to explore. Instead, give them the space to assess the risk and manage their own actions. Fostering confidence and independence, set them up for success and by placing them in yes spaces, environments where they can move freely and safely, allowing them to explore freely. Okay, so I just want to add real quick to this with this whole idea that I feel like a lot of times we create anxiety in kids. We create their fear. Like fear is a very learned behavior. And if we constantly are afraid our kids are going to get hurt, they're going to be afraid they're going to get hurt. If we're afraid for them to try new things, they're going to be afraid for them to try new things. So it's important to make sure if they're trying something on like a climbing frame that you're nervous about them trying, suck it up. Let them try it, hide your emotions. It's no different so I am terrified of spiders. The itty bitty teeny baby spiders terrify me as if it was a giant tarantula. Like, I just cannot. I did not want to pass that fear on to my kids. So whether this is right or wrong, because I had boys, I used to say, no, boys aren't afraid of spiders, only girls, or only mom. Like, just moms are afraid, but boys aren't. They're not afraid of spiders. They're like, they kill them, they take them away, whatever it needs to be done, because I did not want to pass that fear on to them. So I think it's important that when kids are experimenting and playing on playgrounds and stuff, don't pass your fear onto them. Suck it up, put on your game face, just like the same face when they're telling you the most obnoxious story that they've told you 20 times in the last 5 minutes that you don't want to hear anymore. That face, that fake face of like, yeah, I'm here, you've got this. Hide it in.
And I think like taking deep breaths in that, because your anxiety will pass on to them too. They will feel it.
100%. Yeah, they will know if you're not standing there with confidence, they're going to feed that off that. So
they just
make
mirror
it till you make it. Yeah, we don't need to be raising a whole bunch of anxious kids.
Nope.
They're going to have enough shit of their own to deal with and figure out as they age. Don't create them as preschoolers.
Well, you wouldn't want to be at our house during the week because they catch spiders, they catch flies, they look for worms, and they come.
I'm good with all other bugs, just not spiders.
They caught up Danny Longlegs and they're walking around like this.
No.
Like, look, I found it.
Nope.
And I don't like spiders, but I'm like, okay, but keep that one outside.
Yeah. I pay for BuzzBoss for a reason. And do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, so I have a company come to my house and spray my house, like spray the entire outside.
That's an exterminator.
Yeah. So it keeps all the bugs away.
Yeah, I used to get one because I don't like spiders either. So I used to get one to come to my house every summer for the spiders.
Yeah.
I don't anymore, but I do get one to come out to my trailer and spray the outside of my trailer because it's too much. Like they overtake the entire trailer.
Right. And I just can't. And I checked with them, but I'm like, okay, so because they're like, yeah, if you feel like you need extra, just call us. We'll come back. I'm like, okay, so if I find a spider in my house, I'm going to call you and you're going to come back and respray. And they're like, yep, absolutely. And they do. One spider I find in my house, they come back and they respray. And it's the best investment.
Yeah.
It's like $400 a year. Worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relax. Yeah, the kids will find a bug and I'm like, that's fine. But you find a spider and they're coming back.
I also have an ant problem. And I have in the past gotten someone to come out to deal with the ants as well, but that didn't even work.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we have a huge ant problem. Lots of ants.
Do you know why? Because you don't have spiders.
No.
Because that's what I asked.
I stopped spraying at home, so I have spiders now.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, because I asked a bug guy about, I'm like, oh, I have so many ants. And they're like, it's because you don't have spiders. I'm like, oh, ants are fine. I can deal with the ants. They're good. I'm not worried about them. You
That's
just
funny.
get
Until they
the
get in your
rude.
house.
So they did get in my house 2 summers ago. And I mean, this is all my fault because I leave my back door open all the time. Well, between me and my dog that opens my back door but can't close it. Anyway, so we had some ants. And so I just got these little raid boxes and they go and they get the food out of there and they take it back to the queen and all that, whatever. I put those out. They were out of my house. Totally gone. Yeah.
I should try that.
Yeah. I'll send you a picture of the ones that I have.
Yeah, because we get them in our basement every summer.
Yeah, we get
we
the
get
like
them-
potato bugs in the basement. You know what those are?
Right.
I don't know if
Yeah,
that's the
those-
real name of them, but one of the
That's
kids
not
called
the
them a
real name.
potato bug. So I was like, okay, that's what they are.
Yeah. No, I know exactly which ones you're talking about.
Yeah. And I mean, they're gross, but I'm like, whatever. We'll just squash you. But spiders, hell no. No, thank you. They're the devil. I just can't with spiders. No.
Some great examples of risk play for kids are playing at height, climbing, jumping, balancing at height, playing at speed, bicycling at high speed, sledding, sliding, running. Play involving tools. Supervise activities involving an axe, a saw, knife, hammer, or ropes. Example, building a den or whittling. Play involving potentially dangerous elements, playing near fire or water. Rough and tumble play, wrestling, play fighting, fencing with sticks. Play with risk for disappearing or getting lost. Exploring play spaces, neighborhoods, or woods without adult supervision, or in the case of young children, with limited supervision. Example, hiding behind bushes. Play involving impacts, crashing into something or someone, perhaps repeatedly and only for fun. Vicarious play, experiencing the thrill of watching others, often older children, engaging in risky play.
So at our campsite, everybody engages in risky play.
Right.
And we don't see our kids all day and we're like, oh, I hope they're not getting in trouble somewhere.
Right. We will clarify. We are not talking about letting 2 and 3-year-olds play with fire or play with axes. That's not what we're talking about here. So we're talking about age appropriate type tools and stuff. Nobody is giving a kid an axe
No,
when they're
we
2 and being like, have a good time, go play, go build a fort. But
don't
they're
have some mud.
right. We want to have a fire pit. 3-year-old, would you mind just chopping up some wood here?
What's your job?
Right? That's not what we're talking about. Just to clarify before anyone comes at us with, hey, I gave my 2-year-old an axe and now they're missing a finger. That's not what we're saying. We're saying in an age appropriate way, right? So once a kid, an axe is probably more of a hatchet. Don't give a kid an axe. They probably can't lift it anyway, right? But when you're given like saws and stuff, it's okay for them to use a saw if you're supervising, if you're watching what they're doing, if you're teaching them how to use it safely. Don't give a child a saw and be like, go, off you go, have fun, figure it out. Not a good idea. But it is important for them to experience playing with tools and having these like dangerous situations around them when they're playing, because they need to learn how to not injure themselves with those, right? So, but there again, age appropriate situations.
And I think they should also look at it as how they would help dad with
Yes.
like a screwdriver, like give him a screwdriver, let him play with that, see how they do that, or like help dad with the drill kind of thing would be considered that.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't give them power tools and send them on their way to build a fort when they're 3 years old. And then go, I don't know why they're bleeding. Because that's common sense. You have to, we've got to use our brain with this stuff, right?
You crack me up. Every time we do this, you make me laugh.
We got to be smart. We got to, figure stuff out. It's my favorite thing when, so I used to have this section that had rocks, and it was the bane of my existence, but I could not figure out how to get, what to put there to cover these rocks. Anyway, The kids would always throw the rocks onto the grass, and it would drive me crazy. Not because there was rocks on the grass, but because every time I mowed the grass, one of those fucking rocks would hit me in the shin. So I'm like, we don't play in the rocks. Leave the rocks alone and stuff. And so I did end up figuring out how to cover them up and stuff. But now if anyone finds a rock, the kids are like, oh no, it's a rock. Joanne, I found a rock. And I'm like, oh, that's not what I meant to teach you about rocks. So I'm like, so now I feel bad that I've made rocks a scary thing, but rocks are kind of a danger play, I think, because some kids, especially the younger ones, the first thing they do is get a rock, they stick it in their mouth. Why? If you found it on the ground outside, why would you put it in your mouth?
And it's hard.
Right?
It's not like it's soft that you could chew it.
Right? But they do. Yeah. I've had kids come to me and I'm like, what's going on with your chipmunk cheeks? And they're like, they'll shake their head. I'm like, what's in your mouth? Open your mouth, and they'll open their mouth and all these rocks. Like, why? What is it about rocks? But they just, yeah, I mean, they find danger play with everything, right? So we're not saying take them out to like super dangerous situations and then let them have a great time, but just you've got to let them experience some of these dangers, not choking on rocks, but let them experience some of these situations and see like, oh, this is how it's dangerous, right? So
Yeah.
like we had a kid that threw a snowball that had a lot of rocks in the snowball. Thankfully, they threw it at me, so it was me that got injured. But I'm like, see, you've got to be careful even throwing snowballs, which I think they've taken to the extreme in some schools. You're not allowed to throw snowballs anymore, which is horseshit. Like,
You're not even allowed to take like a pile of snow and just toss it in the air.
like why, man?
Everybody's like, don't throw snow. I'm like, oh my God.
It
Okay.
is snow. It is the most soft, like,
Yeah, I could see
I
like
mean-
hard ice. Like when you make a snowball, it essentially turns to hard ice,
for sure.
right? And most times somebody gets hurt, but just like throwing fresh snow up in the air and having fun, I'm okay
Right?
with that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about teaching. Like, okay, you can throw a snowball, but you can't throw an ice ball. And especially by the time they're in school, they know the difference, right?
Yeah.
So instead of saying nobody can throw snow, how about we just don't throw ice? And if you throw a snowball,
Yeah, it
try and
doesn't
hurt
work that way.
somebody, like,
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Doesn't work that
survival
way.
of the fittest on the
Kids-
playground.
yeah. Kids when they get into it, then they don't care what they're throwing.
Yeah,
At that point,
that's true.
they just
That's
want to
true.
get you, right?
Yeah.
And they want to
I
get you
used
in
to-
the face, which is always really painful.
It is. Yeah, when the kid, like, it was a 3-year-old and he threw the snowball and it was like 80% rocks with a bit of
Yeah.
snow. And it totally whacked me right in the cheek. And I got like this wicked bruise. And I was like, damn. But I was like, oh, look, do you see how there's rocks in this? That we can't throw. But snow. So I picked up the snow and I'm like, and then I kind of gently like toss it at him. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that we can throw. See how doesn't hurt? And I didn't throw it at your face. And that's my teaching experience for the throwing snow. There you go. I used to play dodgeball with my day home kids.
That's cool. I
They
like
had
dodgeball.
the best time, right? And you can't play it in school anymore, which is bullshit. But why didn't they just change the balls? Why didn't they
play
just use
pool anymore?
no?
Oh.
I thought
I
you
don't think
could-
you've been-
I thought my son said that they played dodgeball.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we played
Oh, well, maybe
it.
they brought it back.
We played it in our school. Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
well, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, my kids are old. They haven't been in school in 15 years.
Yeah.
So maybe when they were in school, maybe specifically they were not allowed to play dodgeball. I don't know. But
I
for a
know.
while there, because they used to love playing it, and they're like, no, we're not allowed to play it in school. I was
Yeah,
like,
maybe
that
it
is the saddest thing.
depends on the teacher. I mean, sometimes a specific, because I don't know, we don't have a gym teacher, we just have teachers. And maybe a teacher's like, I don't want to deal with all the crying that comes with
You don't have a gym
dodgeball,
teacher?
so we're not playing dodgeball.
Why is there
Right.
no gym teacher?
I'm not sure. Not all schools have a gym teacher.
Oh,
Some the teachers
that's
just
so
teach
sad.
gym. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's fair. Like dodgeball was quite the game, and people did get me.
Yeah.
used to be very intense with dodgeball. It's that competitive streak, right? Like, I don't know. It's harmless. If dodgeball was such a big deal, change the balls. Use a softer
Yeah,
ball.
make
Like
them
those,
softer.
right? Like those red rubbery things, like those hurt when you got nailed in the face with those. Those hurt. But you know what? You learn to dodge. You learn to move out of the way.
Made you a stronger adult.
Right? I am the woman I am today because of dodgeball in school.
Because I got a dodgeball to the face and I took it like a real woman.
Right? So some
Oh,
of these games
so
and stuff
funny.
that you're not allowed, like you can't play Red Rover and stuff like that because nobody's getting clothes. Like, okay, you're getting like clothesline, but whatever. You're not, no one's decapitating kids playing Red Rover in
Right?
school.
And
Yeah.
I
Like, it
taught my
hurts,
kid.
but
I teach my kids Red Rover at 3.
right? It's a great game. Come on.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Yep.
Now
There's a
we're
lot
all
of
soft.
great games that we can't play at school. That sucks. But
Yeah. You know, you get a few bad apples, myself included, that ruin it for everybody else.
a parent's and or caregiver's job is to differentiate between a risk and a hazard while they are developing that skill for themselves. A risk arises in situations where a child can recognize and evaluate the challenge and decide on a course of action based on a personal preference and self-perceived skill. For example, how high to go on a climbing structure or how fast to run down a slope. A hazard is posed by situations where the potential for injury is beyond the child's capacity to recognize it as such or to manage it. For example, an importantly anchored slide could topple under a child's weight or a rotten tree limb may break.
Is it not the scariest thing to watch kids running down a hill?
Yep.
It's scary to me to just watch little kids like 2-3 years old running on cement because
Yes.
I'm like, this kid is gonna fall and smash out all his teeth. Like I can see
Yeah.
it, and it terrifies me when I see kids running on cement. Terrifies
Right?
me.
I actually make them run on the boulevard on the grass. So I'm like, at least it's a little padded compared to
Yeah.
the cement.
Yeah,
So I don't.
yeah.
I'm
I
like,
cringe.
I cringe, but I'm like, yep, go ahead and run. You're
I
gonna
know,
learn to pick
I
your
know.
feet up.
Yeah, I don't stop.
I'm
them,
terrified.
but it scares me, right? I don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah, I am still just waiting for every time they run down the sidewalk. I'm like, I'm like holding my breath as they're
Yep.
running, and I'm like, when they stop, I'm like, they made it.
Yep.
But I don't want to
Yep.
be like, you can't run, right? So, but yeah, as soon as
Yep.
there's like an incline and they start running, I'm like, oh, here we go.
I'm waiting for mine to roll down the hill because that's how
Yeah.
fast they go. And it's not a small hill. It's like a almost 90 degrees that they decide to run down. And I'm like, whew.
Do you remember when we were kids and we'd like lay down on a hill and we'd like roll? Have you done that since being an adult?
Yeah.
Not since being an adult, no. When I was a kid, yes.
I do
Do it
with
as an
my kids.
adult. Have you
No, I'm
thrown up
good.
yet?
No.
The last time I did it, because I was like 40 schmorty, I can still do this. Oh my God. I was so sick. Like I didn't actually puke, but I felt like I was going to throw up the entire day. I was like, that was the worst thing ever. But I was like, this is so much fun. Oh my God.
Do you go to the parks with that spinny thing?
Yes, I can't do that either.
Well, the kids love to do it. So I was like, oh, I'll hop on it one day. And then my son grabs me and whips me right around. I was like, get me off. And he's like, no, I'm going to let it just stop. And I was like, and it's one of those that the closer you are, the faster it goes. The farther you are, the slower. And I'm like, get me off of this thing now.
Right? Oh, we just, as you get older, man, like I can't even go on a swing for long without being nauseous. So I'm like, oh, this sucks. But I mean, I remember the like, like the roundabouts. Is that what they call it here? That you go on and then you spin it, like, and all like lots of kids can go on and someone has to like run along the outside with it going around and you hop on. Yeah. So we used to do like those. If somebody gets flown off, then you win, right? Like, so you've got to go as fast as you can. And I used to love it. And we used to, oh my God, now as an adult, I'm like, what the fuck, man? But we used to like lay down with our head off the end, like to waiting to be decapitated or something, right? Like, and let our hair drag through the rock and stuff. Like, Jesus Christ, if our hair would have got tangled in that shit,
Right?
but we used to do it all the time. It was so much fun.
I told one of the day home moms, I'm like, I don't know how we survived as kids growing up sometimes. Because now I'm like,
Right?
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. And I like wouldn't let my kids do it. Well, actually, I wouldn't let my day home kids do it. I used to let my kids do it because I was young and still doing it with them. But yeah. Oh, some of the things, man, how we survived. You know, it's funny. Everyone always talks about like we got to play outside until the street lights came on and stuff, right? My parents used to be like, okay, you have to be home at like say 8 o'clock. And we'd be like, okay, and off we'd go and play. We didn't have a watch. What the fuck did we do when it was 8 o'clock? And we would just come home randomly. And sometimes I remember coming home and my parents are like, "Oh, you're home early." Like you, and we're like, "Oh, can we go back out and play?" They're like, "Yeah, we said 8 o'clock." And we're like, "All right, we'll try this again later." And then like once in a while we'd come home and they're like, "You're late." And we're like, "Damn, parents, give your kids a watch if you want them home at a certain time. There is no outside clock."
That's true.
Okay, so children who don't engage in risky play are more likely to be clumsy, less physically fit, have little control over motor skills, feel uncomfortable in their own body, and poor balance, fear of rapid movement, and will be less able to manage risk. What do you do if you are a parent or caregiver that struggles with letting your child fall? Start small, build up to it, take a breath, make sure you have assessed the dangers prior to allowing your child to risky play. Take a child-specific first aid course. We are often fearful of things we don't understand or can't control. A first aid course that is child-specific can absolutely help build your confidence that you will know what to do if a more serious fall happens, which is important, right? I mean, parents don't always think about having a first aid course. I would recommend it for everybody. At least know basic stuff, right? Like if a kid falls off a climbing frame, there's absolutely serious injuries that can happen. But those tend to happen when the kid doesn't have confidence to begin with climbing. If they're nervous, they're not paying attention as much, that's when serious accidents happen. But if you have built your child's confidence prior, and accidents happen, don't get me wrong, but if you have built their confidence the whole time, encouraging them to try a little bit more, go a little bit higher, do a little bit further, they have that confidence, they step with confidence, they climb with confidence, they just know how to do it a little bit better. So by the time they're trying the more difficult, the higher, more age appropriate ones, like when they're older, they've got so much more confidence that they're less likely to have an accident.
And I think putting them into a program. So my daughter was a huge climber. She'd be like one standing on a kennel, a wired kennel. So we put her into gymnastics. So she learns how to actually fall down where she's not hurting herself.
Exactly.
She can still hurt herself with the fall, but at least she's learning how to land a little bit better than just, oh, I'm just going to jump down kind of thing.
Yes. How many kids jump and their legs are straight? Bend your knees.
Yeah.
Bend your knees when you jump, children. The damage that is causing to your older knees. 30 years down the road, that is going to be painful. Bend your knees. But you're right. Like learning those skills, like there's little kid gymnastic classes and stuff, right? And they teach stuff like that all the time. So it's totally important. Give them those skills early, let them develop them. Not only do they develop the skills, but they develop the confidence. And if you as a parent if you just can't watch them, turn around, close your eyes, do whatever, pretend you're looking in that direction and look slightly off. Like you got to get over your own fear to allow them to build their confidence.
Yeah.
Don't give them your fear. It really does not help. I think being such a young mom, I was just naive. I didn't understand. Like I didn't know to be scared of them doing the stuff they were doing, and that helped so much because like I remember like my parents being like, "What do you mean that you let them do that?" And I'm like, "What? They're fine." Like they'd be like out riding their bikes and stuff for hours and have all this freedom, and they'd go to a friend's house and be like, "Do you want to come to the park?" And their friends' parents would be like, they can't go to the park without me. I'm like, oh, wait, they're not supposed to go to the park without a parent? What? I'm like, why? I'm like, tell them it's okay. You're going to the close park, not the one like 3 neighborhoods over. And nope, they weren't allowed. I'm like, oops, that's fine. You've been doing it for a year already. Like, you've got to give them that confidence, that independence to explore things. Age appropriately, obviously, but there's no reason an 8-year-old can't go to the park by themselves. It's close enough to your house. Like, give them some confidence. Teach them how, if they know the rules, if they know the boundaries, if they know your expectations, and you're confident that they will follow those, there's no reason they can't have a little independence, for sure. Don't send your 3-year-old to the park by themselves. Nobody's telling you to do that.
What I also think too is like if parents don't want to like start with a park or something, for example, right? They could do a gymnastics class because then at
Yeah.
least everything is padded, but they could still go up on a balance beam and learn to walk across it. Like my daughter still gives me a heart attack out in the backyard because she swings on our monkey bar and then does flips, and I'm like,
Right?
She once jumped on our floor downstairs. It's a hardwood floor. She just jumped right on it and then hurt her ankle and got super mad at me because my floor was not padded like gymnastics. And now she hurt herself. And I was like, no, like, so if you can, as a parent, start with that because then at least it's easy to watch and then work your way out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Don't give them your fears. That's the worst thing you can do. It's so great to watch them like especially like at the park, like they go and they try something new for the first time, that confidence that they have and that like they're just so proud when they've like climbed something or done something. And it's such a great feeling to see them have that and know that they did that on their own. You didn't help them up there, they did it. It's great. And you can't help but feel bad for the kids that are terrified to do anything. That's not cool. They're going to struggle so much with more things in life, right? Like the confidence to try new things and the ability to fail and then get back up and try it again. That impacts so many aspects of your life. Yeah, I can't just express enough how important it is to let your kids fail. It reminds me of the idea of letting your kids lose when you're playing a game. How many parents just like will play like a simple board game and their kid wins every time? What happens now when they play with their friends and they lose?
Yeah.
Right? Like you're creating a sore loser. Like you don't want to
Yeah.
create a sore winner either, but like you've got to let them lose because
Yeah.
they're going to lose. They're going to lose at some point. So
Yeah.
teach them how to lose with grace. That's it for Day Home Divas this week.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Day Home Divas, on TikTok at Day Home Divas, and join our Facebook group, Day Home Divas.
If anyone has any topics you want us to cover, or if you have any questions or suggestions, you can email us at dayhomedivas@gmail.com.
We would also appreciate it if you could rate and review us on whatever platform you're listening on. It really helps the podcast move up on their charts so it gets more exposure. Hope you join us again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.